Welcome to Coffee with Alain and our third episode in a row on training. Sort of have a series going on this week about training. And today we're going to talk about training for longevity, a topic that John brought up the other day, and I thought that would be a good topic to speak on. Drinking out of a Yoda cup this morning, just because Yoda, he's pretty old and still kicking ass. So he was definitely training for longevity. And that's something that's important that we don't often think about when we're younger. We start thinking about it when we get older. And sometimes the things we did when we were younger, we regret and wish we would have done things, not make it so difficult when we get up into the elderly ages. So, what am I talking about? When we're young, dumb, sometimes training hard, we create injuries and different things that then we live with the rest of our life. And they get worse as we get older. The arthritis starts coming in, and I don't know many elderly martial artists that don't have stories about the injuries and things they did when they were younger that they are paying for now. I certainly have a few myself. If we can recognize that as early as possible in our life and train purposefully so we can continue to train when we're in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, that's the ideal. And the training is going to change. I've told this story before, but I think it's appropriate now. A couple years ago, Dr. Kim was teaching at the Korean Martial Art Festival, which he will be teaching there next week. I'll get to see him again next week. But a couple years ago when he was teaching, he held up a magazine cover from the 70s when he was younger, doing a flying kick, and said, when you're young, you do these kind of things. Then he held up a magazine cover that he was on from maybe in the 90s, where he was doing joint locks and throws and so forth. Wasn't flying, but doing some different kind of things. Then he held up a magazine cover from up in the 2000s, where the article was more focused on mental training, chi training, health. He says, as you age, the focus of your training and how you train will change, but you must continue to train. And I thought that was a really great lesson. So he's still teaching and training in his 80s. And I think that's an ideal for all of us, that we want to do that. And that's especially for martial artists. If you're just training for health and fitness, you want to do the same. You can throw those huge weights around when you're younger, but be careful you don't injure yourself. That's going to come back at you later in your later life. And when we get older, our training will change. Maybe not doing as heavy as we did, maybe not doing as fast as we used to be, but we continue to train for longevity. And that should be a goal for all of us. I want to say good morning to Jay and Vicky. Appreciate you guys being here. And Jay says, each morning, Arthur makes me remember. Yep, arthritis reminds us of things we did when we were younger. And that happens to all of us as we age. The best we can do is wherever we're at right now, because we can't back up and change stuff, wherever we're at right now, to train purposefully and also with longevity in mind. Now, if you're a competitor, sometimes that's not going to work so well. I get it. When you're competing, when you're trying to compete at some of the highest levels, you're going to do whatever it takes to win. And sometimes that can be detrimental to your long-term health and longevity for training. I get it. Once you get out of the competition stage, then you're going to do remedial training to fix what maybe you hurt, because we do. We injure ourselves and do things when we're competing. and then focus on what can we do to live a long, healthy life and continue to train for the entire time. So that's something we all should consider, because we all are getting older and we all want to continue to keep ourselves healthy, to continue to train way up into our elderly years. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter at enjoylifesafely.com. Share these videos. Let other people know about it. There's a podcast as well. If they don't want to watch videos, let them know about the podcast. They can listen to that. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's at the website, enjoylifesafely.com. Appreciate all of you. And I want to say one more comment before I leave. And I just noticed that Dixon said, Grandmaster Kim, a true scholar warrior. He definitely is. Still teaching and training in his 80s. His newest book just came out that I'm going to probably buy next week. Fantastic warrior scholar, definitely, for sure. Thank you, Dixon, for joining. Everybody, thank you. Make it a terrific Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow.